So have you ever been told something you believed your whole life was incorrect? Like something you would swear was true only to find out you had the facts completely and totally wrong. It's a little gut punching and it kind of makes you think you're going like totally insane, and there's actually a name for it. And today on the show, we're going to discuss that. And that is the Mandela effect. Hello everyone, welcome to Kinda Creepy. I'm Jason Emmett.
And I'm Twisted Kid Matt.
Mine was better because I pointed. Like I showed him who I was. You
I
were
mean,
like,
I just, I think
me,
people think
Matt,
I'm
good fires.
showing the guns here.
All right, so we said in the cold open that we're going to be talking about the Mandela effect. Yeah, that was just not. I mean, it was. I was going to let it go because it was a little sad, but
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have guns. Like
Yeah.
let's just. I got a pistol.
Pew pew.
BB gun. Um, so we said in the cold open we're going to talk about the Mandela effect today, and this is a little different than anything the kind of stuff we typically talk about, but like it's something that's been really interesting to me for a long time, and sometimes it feels a little creepy. Not gonna lie, there's a little creepy factor to the Mandela effect, but I think it would probably behoove the folks at home if we kind of started by explaining what the Mandela effect is for those who just don't have a clue. So, I mean, you probably all have heard the term. I It's weird to me that I some people hear the term and don't know where it came from, but I get that, especially to maybe some of the younger audience, I
Yeah.
guess. So the Mandela effect is this it's this phenomenon where a
Do,
large
do,
group, and
do,
that's
do.
important, where a large group of people share a memory about a past event or detail only to discover they were completely wrong. But the thing is, it's it's not just a mistake, it feels off. Like almost like somewhere inside you kind of know it was switched. Like and it's not just you swearing to it. This isn't like I swear I put the peanut butter on that shelf. No, like it feels wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a conspiracy theory. It doesn't feel like anybody's trying to trick you or they're hiding something from you. You understand this new version in front of you is also correct, but like to your core that your memory is also correct. If
Yeah.
that if
It
that makes sense.
it's almost like it's making you question reality itself.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
from your personal memories that it was this way and somehow everything changed
Yeah, like there
suddenly and you don't know why, how, or if it even did, and you just remembered it wrong.
yeah, cuz there's tons of times where somebody will say like, "Dude, you've got that wrong," or and you're like, "Really?" And while you're like, "I think I'm right." And then you're like, "Damn, I was wrong." But you can accept it. This is different. It's just different.
Yeah.
And the kicker is thousands, sometimes millions of other people, they also remember it that way.
Yeah.
And that's where things get a little thrown off. Where it's like, it's not just me. All these people remember it this way, and they all feel exactly the same way. I mean, some people are just stubborn.
Yeah.
Like,
Some
we're
are
going to talk
stubborn.
about that.
Yeah. And I will say that some of the examples that we have that are in here, I haven't told Jay my memory of them. And I kind of want to go over that whenever we get to each one of these.
Yeah, we
Just
know what
like
we're
which one
talking
we
about.
remember
We're
versus.
bringing up some very
Yeah.
specific ones today, and there are a bunch out there, but we haven't. We know which ones we're talking about. But we haven't discussed them amongst each other.
Yeah.
Um, so the phrase Mandela effect was actually coined by a paranormal researcher named Fiona Broom, and this was in 2009. And she coined this phrase after she discovered, like many people, remembered that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 80s, only to find out he actually didn't. He actually was still alive in 2009. He didn't pass away to 2013, and he'd become president. All this stuff, not none of America, guys.
Yeah.
Just what I realized. So I actually want to say this. I'm amongst those who actually was shocked when I found out he was still alive, because I swear that he'd passed away in prison in the 80s. I couldn't. Someone told me I was no, he's still alive, and I'm like, what? And this was before the term had been coined. Nobody was calling it that. And I'm like, but I remember the funeral. I remember there was like a funeral procession. I remember all of it. And I'm not the only one. Like a lot of people remember that. So I'm curious before we kind of get into. So this is the one that coined it. This is the one where millions of people believe that he died, and then obviously he didn't. Did you have an opinion? Like, do you remember this?
Like I remember him going to prison, and I remember him getting out and becoming president.
See, I didn't.
Yeah, like I knew he went to prison, and I actually, to be honest, I thought he was still alive currently because I didn't know.
Right.
You know, this
He'd be
isn't
pretty
just
up
like a
there if he was.
Mandela type of thing. Yeah, this wasn't a Mandela effect type of thing. Like I just genuinely didn't know
You just
if he
didn't
was
know.
alive or dead.
Yeah.
But like I remember him becoming president of it was South Africa.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Um, I remember all that. I even remember some stupid joke that they made on Saturday Night Live. I think it was Adam Sandler, like selling a little replica version of the prison that he was in. So yeah, I'll let you go back and
Well,
look up
we're
that sketch. But all right, so Matt from the future here. I'm actually editing this video about the Mandela Effect and found out that there is a related Mandela Effect as to what I'm actually talking about in this video, where Adam Sandler is talking about the replica of the prison that Nelson Mandela was kept in. And it's not actually from Saturday Night Live. It is recreated from a sketch from Saturday Night Live in the movie The Hot Chick from 2002. So, totally wrong and misremembered. Mandela Effect. I don't know. I could have sworn it was from Saturday Night Live, but here we are.
we'll get into the logistics of why some people believe why it's possible some people remember it one way and some people remember it a different. Like there's a reason why people think that it exists. But I want to be clear about something, and this may step on a few toes, and I'm sorry. We're not going to discuss people getting quotes wrong for movies and swearing that the quote was something else. Because to me, and most
Yeah,
people,
there's a
this is
script
usually
and a
just the
film to
case.
go off of.
Well, it's not just that. It's a case of someone misquoting it early on, and that misquote getting passed down until people just believe it's the actual quote. I have some good examples. For example, one of the biggest ones, and I've been arguing this forever, is "No, I am your father." Is it's not Luke, I am your father. It's always been "No, I am your father," and it goes right along with the story. He says Obi-Wan never told you who your father was. He told me no. He told me you killed him. No, I am your father. That's always been it. But it's just easier for people to go, Luke, I'm your father. And then one guy said it, and then everybody started saying it.
What
It's
movie is
kind
this from?
of yeah, right. um, just because people got caught up in mirror, mirror on the wall doesn't mean it was ever mirror, mirror on the wall. It's always been magic mirror on the wall. But what happens is somebody says mirror, mirror on the wall, and then it becomes a thing. And I think they even made a movie called
We're gonna
Mirror,
get
Mirror.
taken down by Disney. I figured I'd take that off the screen for a little bit.
But I think they even made a movie called Mirror, Mirror.
Yeah, they
And
did. It's actually Tarsum, I think is his name. It's the same guy that made The Cell.
but the fact is that's incorrect. It's magic mirror on the wall, which makes more sense, by the way. Magic mirror on the wall. So if you think about it, it's just So we're not going to be talking about that. We're not going to be talking about. To me, I chalk the mirror, mirror, magic mirror up to alliteration. In a movie we think we actually know. Like people think, oh, but that's what it is. But I'm like, yeah, but how many times have you really seen that movie? Like you've seen it.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend like we're all huge fans and we go back and watch Snow White a bunch because we probably don't.
Yeah. I'm sure like Disney adults do, but we're just
Yeah, I'm saying
fans,
there
not
will be
Disney
some people,
fans.
but most people probably haven't watched it as much as they like to pretend they have. Oh, I saw it a bunch growing up. Did you, or did you see it a few times?
Yeah.
And when you did, how much attention were you really paying? So Nelson Mandela is a big one, but there are a few more, and some of these are a little more difficult to argue than others, and some aren't. So we're gonna hit, to me, what one of the big ones right out the gate. We're gonna talk about the Berenstain Bears versus the Berenstein Bears, and this one gets a lot of crap, and I get it. So there are those who believe that the spelling is Berenstein. Uh, but we can clearly see the books and we know it's Berenstain. I was in the camp growing up that I swear to God it was Berenstein. So much so that I recall as a kid in my head going, how do I pronounce, is it Berenstein?
Yep.
Like I was always confused on how I was supposed to pronounce it.
Yep.
And
And
then,
I will say I was also in that same camp. Like this one
so,
blew my mind.
right. Okay, cool. So like one day I'm like reading about the Mandela effect and somebody's like, yeah, just like them telling us it's Berenstain Bears. And I'm like, the what now? It's Berenstein Bears.
Yeah.
And it's weird because now we live in 2025, the world of 2025. People can doctor stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but you can find little things. Yeah, I heard the cat. You can find little things that like suggest like this TV thing. Is this legit or did somebody fake this like
Yeah.
I
I don't know personally, but
or is that an A and it just looks funky because
so here's what we need to do. And I'm just going to go ahead and offer up a solution to all of this right now. And I know that there are people who've done this. We find somebody who has collections of things, collections of either the books or TV
well, I've
guide.
seen the books. That's the
Yeah.
thing. I've seen them, and so it becomes the question. Well, we'll get to there. We'll get to why people think this may exist, and
Yeah.
then it becomes if it exists, if it's real, are is there any way to prove it? Because would those things change as well?
Yeah. And
So I don't
that's like
know.
I mean, you get into Back to the Future, butterfly effect, all of that. And it's just,
Well, we're going to talk about
there's
some
a
weird
lot.
things
There's a
today, and
lot
it's going to
going on.
sound like they're reaching, but we're not because most of what we're talking today has some basis in actual quantum physics and actual scientific quantum physics. It's not like we're making all this up.
Now, also, we
Theory.
should say we are not experts. We are just two idiots talking about
No,
weird stuff on the internet.
I'm an expert in quantum and technology.
This is quantum tech. I would like to think I'm an expert in watching movies where this exact thing has happened. Ashton Kutcher
I think
went
there's a movie.
back into
No,
time, changed a
that's
little
a
bit of
butterfly
history.
effect.
That's what I'm saying. And
The
that,
the
you get a
there's
whole other
a
timeline.
I think there's a movie called The Mandela Effect out now. So I think it
We'll
was
have
a
to watch
lower
that.
budget. Yeah. So you remember Berenstein Bears as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, and throughout the comments, guys, if you're watching this, like let us know which you remember. Like, do you remember Berenstein or Berenstain? And people will get really nasty about this, like on both sides. People will call people dumb. It's always been this way. But again, we will discuss why it maybe to one person it was one way and to another it was another. And so I don't think being hateful and just saying nope, it's always been that way because I remember it that way. Well, it doesn't. But
Yeah.
what if they don't?
Tell you what,
Like, what
if you are to leave a comment, leave us what memory you have, and that's it. Just tell us which one you remember, and then we'll go from there. But
yeah.
yeah, don't get hateful in the comments. There's no need in it, and we're just gonna delete them
So
anyway. So
the next one is another one where when somebody told me this didn't exist, I was like, what? I was like, I'm pretty sure it does. And this wasn't me just going like, oh, I never saw it. I just remember it existed. And that is a movie called Shazaam, where Sinbad plays a genie. Now, it gets thrown out a lot. Well, no. There is a movie called, which I didn't, I tried to get the poster and it was crappy. Maybe we'll add it in, but there is a movie called Kazaam where Shaq, with his acting pros, plays a genie. And
yeah,
people are like, you're just
like
getting the
Steel.
two mixed. You're just, yeah, Steel. Oh, God. You're just getting the two mixed up. Well, I've never seen either of them. And I'm going to tell you right now, no, I remember Kazan existing. And I swear to God, I remember the trailer. Not, I don't get Shaq and Sinbad messed up. I know who they are. And there's a movie called, I swear to God, there was one. Now, you're seeing an image right now, and you could go online right now and find a clip from Shazam with Sinbad. That's possible. I found it. I was going to play it here on the show. Um, this is fake. It's real. He really put this outfit on, and they really filmed this, but it was for college humor, making fun of um, this whole Mandela effect because he swears it's not real. to go beyond that, he has there's a whole clip out there. I saw it. Um, it said Sinbad admitting that he was in a movie called Shazam. But then when you watch it, it's like, I hope to God you didn't think he was being serious. He's like, yeah, so I did it. I did it because I was addicted to crack and I needed crack money. And so I made this bet. Like, it's a joke, obviously. I have heard this weird theory about. Okay, so first of all, do you recall this?
I remember Shaq in Kazam. I remember that. I remember hearing about Sinbad in Shazam, but I don't remember ever seeing it myself. But I don't know.
So one of the
The
problems
fact
is
that the alleged star of the film has come out, and now here's a theory that I'm going to throw out there. He's come out and said, "No, I never made this movie."
sure.
It could be an Alan Smithy type situation where he's like,
So
"Man, this movie was bad, and I just
that is
want to
one
disavow it entirely and just say it never existed."
that is one thing I have heard that people have said, no, the movie existed. It was so bad, did so poorly in the box office that they
Which is fine. Just take the
pretended it
loss.
did not exist and they hid it. Now, which is weird to me, but they've done weird stuff in Hollywood before. It'd be damn near impossible. But people are like, well, I have a copy on VHS. See, I don't buy that because I think if it was that bad and they did bury it, it would have
It
never
would,
come out on VHS.
yeah.
They would have buried it. And at the time, you guys can understand this would have been the early 90s. If they could have taken it out of a theater and that would have been the last anybody would have seen of it if they would have decided to bury it completely. So
Yeah.
I've heard that theory as well. But the thing that really is weird about this, Matt, is when people come up to you and say, no, this movie never existed, you're not going like, this is the first I've heard of it. You're going, yeah, I did. I mean, I knew this movie. Like, I remember this movie.
Yeah.
And they're looking at you and like, are you gaslighting me, you son of a bitch? Like,
Yeah.
it's
I
telling
mean,
me it did.
I'll just say if it exists or if it doesn't, this is a Saturday afternoon movie, is what this is.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be really bad.
This is
like,
one where you just sit there and just
So
eat some popcorn and just watch. Even if it's a bad movie, you're still going to get some enjoyment out of it. Because, I mean, even this College Humor clip, I'd watch a full movie just based on this frame. This looks ridiculous,
this
and I
is
would
the
love
weird
it.
thing. Well, there's two kids, and they're wishing. So that's the biggest problem. Okay, people who I've never seen Kazan or Shazam. Okay, well, I've seen Shazam, the new one. But I want to be very clear that it didn't come out and say like, no, and then describe the movie, and people are like, well, no, that's Kazan. No, that's the other big problem. People are like, I saw it. Here's the plot. Here's what happens. And they describe a movie that is not the same plot as Kazan. It's actually different, and multiple people have described the same damn plot.
Yeah.
So, what's that mean? It gets really bizarre. So again, let us know. Do you guys remember this one? Do you think like, or do you not? Just let us know. Yes, I remember it. No, I don't remember this ever happening. There's a reason why I will kind of want to know that. So the next one on this list, I actually don't subscribe to. I think this is a mistaken identity. And again, you could remember things different. But I just think and there's a reason other people think this as well. Anyway, the next one is the logo for Fruit of the Loom. Which one's right? Matt, which one is correct?
I'm going to say the one with the cornucopia is right.
Yeah, and that's what that's the argument, right? But
I'm going to tell you. Here's my argument for the cornucopia. I've worn the underwear. I've bought the packages. I've seen commercials. There is one you'll probably remember. It wasn't even just one commercial. It was a series of commercials where it was a whole campaign where there were human actors wearing various fruit costumes, right?
Yeah.
One of which I'm pretty sure was a cornucopia, and if not, they had it in the background.
That's
because
possible.
would have been a much bigger costume than everything else.
The
But I
cornucopia
remember
is
a bunch of
bagel-
grapes with arms, legs, and a head walking around talking about underwear.
That all existed. Yes.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, cornucopia is the
brown
crescent roll looking thing in the background, also known as a horn of plenty or a bugle or the sorting hat, whatever you want. So actually,
Sorting
in
hat.
all fairness, the logo is the one on the right. It's not the one on the left. And so the theory is, well, maybe at one time it was, except we can see what their logos have been
I,
since the
I want
very
to argue
beginning.
with you. I want to argue with you so much right now. And I'm telling you,
1936. What the hell were they thinking?
right?
It's like it's a coin.
Now here's my argument before we go any further. All right, I'm gonna go back
Hmm.
to this original image that we were talking about. Why? So I'm just saying, like, why? Why? Like, who would imagine a cornucopia?
I think a lot of people.
Like, it just, but why? It's
So
such
the
an
theory.
odd thing to have
So the,
in there allegedly, and then oh, it
I
was
have
never
a
there.
question.
Why?
We have red grapes, green grapes, a red apple, and what is that? Olives? What's that?
Maybe persimmons? I don't know.
So let's go look at the the logos
That's
over
a
the
very
years.
good question, actually. Yeah, what are those?
So the theory that Fruit of the Loom has actually come out with and said they think maybe they think that maybe people got confused in the one that ran from like 62 to 78 because the background was brown and the grapes on the right were darker and things like that, and people kind of started merging that image, the brown image, in with the darker the cornucopia, because now it's green, right? And but there it was dark brown. And so they're like, we think that people just attribute fruit and then they kind of remember that early image and the two are just sort of morphing. I don't know. I don't remember there ever being a cornucopia myself. And I do remember those commercials very well, that you were talking about.
I think the one thing that we actually did discuss about this off air was my theory of maybe some of these companies where it's like a logo, changing. Maybe they're kind of playing into it a little bit for publicity.
It's possible, but
It's a slim possibility, especially if they're like, no, we have like records that show going all
the,
the way back to 1893
the,
to
the
today.
issue the issue I see with that is this is where Mandela effect comes in. If you're legit,
Yeah.
you can't go back. You could get on eBay right now and buy a Fruit of the Loom shirt from 70 something. It's going to cost you, but I'm sure you could do it. And when you look at the logo, it won't match. Now, you guys got to be really weary because again, we live in 2025 land, and in 2025 land, I've seen VHS of Shazaam. I've seen people show shirt tags with the cornucopia, but I haven't seen it in person. I've seen people do it online. Also, you can change shirt tags, and one of the ones I saw I can blatantly call crap on because it was one of the printed ones, and they're like, "See, it has a cornucopia." I'm like, "Yeah, except they didn't start doing printed tags until I think in the '90s. They still had tags, so you're full of shit. Like that, I would clearly be this new one. So you got to watch people. They will, for whatever reason,
Now I'm
try to trick you.
super curious. I have a friend who actually owns a vintage clothing store.
Okay.
I would be curious to see, and he knows like the years of everything that he's got in his store. I would be curious to find out one if he has any Fruit of the Loom, because knowing him, there's a kind of
Well,
a
he
low
might not
likelihood. But
because they
if
just
he
didn't
could
have a
pull
lot
it,
of Fruit of the
and
Loom is just
see,
plain shirts. Usually, it doesn't have
yeah,
like they're not like cool graphic tees from the '70s. But
yeah,
he'd probably still seen it. You
yeah,
know, I'm
curious,
sure if he's got a vintage store, stuff has come in that he's like, nah, I don't need that. But
yeah,
um,
that'd be
so
kind
here's the
of
thing. I
interesting.
do want to be clear about though. Say Matt goes out and hunts this down and finds there's a cornucopia.
Who's
This
going to
is not
believe me?
this would not prove nor disprove, I know this is gonna sound weird, the Mandela effect, because by all accounts, if the Mandela effect is real, then we'll never find one with a cornucopia. And we're gonna get to why that would be. But what it would prove is that somebody's fucking lying. That's what it would prove. The next one's huge, and I'm gonna say this. And again, I said no, people shouldn't be doing this, but I'm gonna tell you guys, you were just mistaken, and there's a reason why I think most people were mistaken because it makes sense that you were mistaken. Be well, all right. The next one is Publishers Clearinghouse and Ed McMahon. So you see it right there. There's Ed McMahon holding a check We've seen it. We know that he went to people's house and gave them checks. This is all easily proved. But the Mandela effect, people are like, he did this he go for Publishers Clearinghouse, and people are like, no, he never once worked with Publishers Clearinghouse. People are losing their minds. Ed McMahon, and I actually remember these commercials very well. Ed McMahon was a spokesperson for American Family Publishers. So they did the same exact thing as Publishers Clearinghouse. And those two weren't even the only two that did it. These were publishing companies that would do these contests where you would you mail in the thing and you might win like all this money. And so he did show up at people's houses and did give them checks for American Family Publishers. The Publishers Clearinghouse was just the biggest of all of them. It was the one everybody remembers. And I have actually watched, and this exists, and I meant to get it for the show, and I totally forgot. I feel bad about that. I'll see if I can pull it and give it to Matt. We'll insert it. There is an actual news broadcast from like the fucking 80s where they're not talking about the Mandela effect. They're just talking about these publishing companies, and they even mention that he works for does this for American Family, and so on and so forth. But what happened, and this is legit, guys, I swear to God, there was a TV show, and I don't remember what it was, but there's a line, a joke cracked in there like, oh, was Ed McMahon going to show up with my check for Publishers Clearinghouse or something? And that just, boom, it just caught on that it was Publishers Clearinghouse. So what I'm saying is why I don't think this is Mandela.
It's a blend of fact and misremembering what that fact was.
Yes, and why I don't believe this is Mandela is because both companies exist. It's not like, no, it was Publishers Clearinghouse. There was never a company called American Family. No, they both exist currently. You know, they are a thing that really existed. He really did give checks. He really did commercials. All of that exists, and they did the same. So I don't think it's Mandela effect. I think it's just people just got the two companies mixed up. But you know, I know there are some that think I'm full of shit, and that, but I don't think so. I think people just got the two companies mixed up because Publishers Clearinghouse was the biggest and the one that people remember. There were actually several companies that did this very same thing. It was kind of a scam. They were their overall goal was actually just to get people to send in so they could try to sell you stuff. Very few people actually won anything from any of these companies, but people did. I mean, it was you actually got to give it away.
Yeah. Now I will say that I believed for the longest time that it was Publishers Clearinghouse, and to find out that it was American Family Publishers is a little jarring, to be honest. But again, there are video, commercials, I guess, or whatever they would really be. Was it an actual commercial, like advertising?
Yeah. This is a clip from the commercial, and it wasn't just him. It was
there was a couple of them. I remember various people delivering
what's
checks.
His face? Dick Clark.
Dick Clark did too?
Yeah, they would do the commercials together. Do you remember they had a practical? What was that show called?
Oh, the Practical Jokers.
Yeah, some bloopers and practical jokes, and then they did a bunch of stuff together. They did some of these commercials together. You can watch them right now. They're like online. So,
okay. All
right. So the next one. You said you were interested in...
Yeah, and we haven't discussed this next one at all. And now I want to know what the Mandela Effect is, because I didn't even know there was one around this.
Yeah, and I was amongst those, once again. So the next one is the Tank Man of Tiananmen Square.
Okay.
So I wonder how many people know about Tiananmen Square, but it was basically...
I know of it, but I don't know a lot about it, other than I've seen this image or one similar to it.
I'm going to hack this all to pieces, guys. But there was in Tiananmen Square, there was a military presence incoming. The people were kind of revolting, decided to stand up. This one man walks out in front of these tanks and refuses to move. Okay. And there are several images. This is a real thing. That's not the Mandela effect.
Okay.
What do you remember about this?
I know what I remember of it is tanks are coming down the street. I remember one tank, for one,
No, there were several. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying like in the video, which there is video of this. There's not just still images. I remember the tank starts to kind of move to go around him, and he steps in front of it and keeps going side to side to block it. What he is, the story I've heard, what he's holding in his hands are his groceries. He was on his way home
Yeah, I think it's
from the
groceries.
grocery store, and he was just like, "No, this isn't happening," and went to block them. And it kind of became like an image of like even one person can make a difference, kind of a thing. Of like that's kind of how it was. I don't want to say propagandized, but kind of like the even one person can stand up and make a difference is kind of what this type of thing was marketed as, I guess.
So most of what you just said was, as far as I know, correct. The problem is what I thought happened, and apparently lots of people do, is that this man died on this day and became a martyr for the cause. But he did not.
No, I've
He did
never
not.
heard
He
that,
was not killed. He was not killed at all.
because
I
I feel
mean,
like we would see that video a little bit more too, given
now
the messed up nature of the internet.
the versions are, some people say he got ran over by a tank. I don't recall that. I recalled like him being shot. Now this could just be one of those, again, foggy memory things, but
Yeah.
I was alive during, I was a teenager. I was young, but I remember this, but like
What year
I
did this
really
happen?
like 90 something.
Hang on a second.
But I do remember it. I remember, and I
Matt does
remember
live seed research.
now. I want to be clear. I remember hearing that he had been killed, and that caused a major change.
1989.
Okay, so I was a little off. I was like early 90s, I think, but I couldn't remember. So it caused a major change, and maybe it's just one of those things where maybe even somebody did report that he was killed, and then that was just wrong. Um, you know, Incorrect reporting happens,
Yeah.
and that is a possibility of this whole story. And it's not like this was something that was, I mean, it was huge, but I was a teenager, so like I wasn't keeping up with political events like this.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that I just heard that, but apparently a lot of people believe that he was killed. Again, some say he was ran over by a tank, like they just ran him over. Matt's right though. There's
It's
lots of video of him. He continues to move and just keep blocking them.
yeah, it's kind of a combination of things. Like the whole thing started like this was the day that the whole thing ended, and apparently in China they refer to it as the June 4th incident. They don't call it the Tiananmen Square protest or
Right.
anything.
It happened
They
in
call it
Tiananmen
yeah, they
Square.
call it the June 4th incident. The People's Liberation Army used live ammunition, tanks, and armed soldiers to clear the square, resulting in the death of hundreds, possibly thousands of unarmed civilians.
And maybe again, that's where this is coming from. People did die, and maybe it just got mixed up that he
Yeah.
died as well, but he actually didn't.
Yeah.
And what he did
This
enacted a
guy
lot.
didn't. Other people
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
Right, and maybe that, but that's what I mean. Maybe that's why
Man.
people think he died as well.
This is literally me learning more about this whole incident.
Yeah, I know the basics, but not enough to give
Yeah.
anybody a history.
That's crazy.
Like I knew kind of the basics, but
Oh, well, here, let me give you a little bit more that I just found in the unfortunately the AI overview on Google, because that's the first thing that pops up now.
that's fine. Yeah.
It says the government has worked to erase the memory of the crackdown, censoring information and banning public commemorations. The event remains a highly sensitive topic in China even today.
Yeah, and we wouldn't know anything about governments trying to hide.
Literally the next line on it, AI responses may include mistakes. So who knows? Who knows what that
I mean,
is?
it's probably more accurate than Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I think I think probably the fact that lots of civilians did die is just where kind of the people's brains went with this one. So I just thought this was an interesting one because it was another
Yeah.
one where I had always believed somebody passed away, and apparently I wasn't the only one. But I think this might just be a mistaken news reports of hearing people that did die and civilians died, and your brain just goes, "Oh, this civilian died." So the next one, Matt saw the picture and was like, I'll save it for the show." So I'm really curious about this, and let's just give this. What are your memories? Which one's right, Matt?
Stovers.
No.
I'm
It's
calling bullcrap on that.
it's craft. This is a huge one. So stovetop stuffing. Now, as a kid, all we ever called it was stovetop stuffing or stovetop.
Yeah.
And I guess in my brain, I always thought it was Stouffer's. Stouffer's stovetop sounds right.
I have
But
a theory
apparently,
as to why.
apparently
And
it has always been craft. And I want to point one other thing out. If I look at these images, the Stouffer's looks better. Craft looks weird.
yeah, that's part of it
Just-
too.
so
Stouffer's looks right. Kraft
yeah,
looks made up. Now, here's the other thing. I'm wondering if Stouffer's is like a subsidiary of Kraft. No, it's not. Okay.
now from everything I've
Stouffer's
looked
is a
into,
real brand though, right?
this is always oh yeah,
Okay.
Stouffer's is real.
Yeah.
From everything I've ever looked into, it's just this is craft. This is a craft product, and it's just there's no like. It is weird. And again, is this an alliteration thing? Craft stovetop, Stouffer stovetop. One sounds better.
Like I'm remembering commercials for Stouffer's stovetop stuffing.
Swear I would have. I don't remember growing up calling it anything, which is weird because if it was Kraft, like Kraft macaroni and cheese, like Kraft, you would say.
You associate it with macaroni and cheese, not stuffing. Like
And
mayonnaise,
Stouffer's,
maybe. Yeah, Kraft
Stouffer's
mayo.
makes more sense to me, like in my brain. And even this is going to sound weird, but even the coloring of the packaging is very Stouffer's. They use a lot of reds and
Yeah.
yellows, and Kraft doesn't. They use a lot of blue.
Yeah.
It's very weird, like that. This just like if you came to me tomorrow and said,
Man.
"No, we proved it was Stouffer's," I'd be like, "All right, like, I'm okay."
That's what I'm saying. Like,
this is not a hill for me to
Stouffer's.
die on because I only remember what I remember. But I'm like, it sure does feel like Stouffer's is correct. But,
okay, well, here's the thing. You search Stouffer's stove and nothing else, like before you even finish typing everything, it comes up with commercial, directions, recipes, ingredients. Is it discontinued? Like, it all comes up as a thing, right? This is crazy. I've
He's
like
"This is
legitimately blowing my mind. Like I am like
and
I
that's
am
what the
remembering
Mandela effect does.
Stouffer's. I'm not remembering anything about Kraft. Like that, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't roll off the tongue. The packaging looks terrible, and that one seems fake to me.
That is what the Mandela effect does. And see, to Matt, it's not like there's plenty of times where he goes, "Really? I could have swore it was that," but then there's this time where it just that doesn't. It feels
It just
wrong.
doesn't. No, there's nothing right about it.
It's just totally wrong. Like everything about that is off. Yeah. So we have
I'm still looking into it because it's bothering me now, and this is exactly what it is. Okay, so let me just mention this. So I just typed stovetop stuffing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The images that come up have neither logo.
Correct. I don't actually think it does have a logo.
None of them
No,
have
they've
the
added
logo.
this logo.
Okay, there's one that it's like a little canister, like you would get breadcrumbs in. It's like, which I mean, basically stuffing is breadcrumbs.
So
it has the Kraft logo on it.
So that's
the only one.
That's what I was telling you as a kid. So it just says stovetop, and that's all I knew.
Yeah.
I thought stovetop was just its own brand, and it is sort of. It's just something that Kraft releases, but it doesn't make sense that that you're even telling me it's Kraft. Why wouldn't Kraft have their name on it? Like it's so weird, just so much about it, and like I said, the coloring of the boxes. It all flows better with Stouffer's.
All right, and I'm gonna kind of argue this a little bit. It will a little bit. So I could totally understand if on the back it said, distributed by Kraft. That makes sense.
There are other brands. One of the big ones, and I didn't pull a picture of this, was people are like, it's called Jiffy peanut butter. It's not. It's always been Jif. Jiffy's just it's kind of like, it's just like when people say like, I don't know. I think I gave examples to you, or I was like, it's kind of like when we jokingly say Target instead of Target, or Mickey D's instead of McDonald's. Jif has 3 colored bars, always has, for the J, the I, and the F. And people will take that same thing and slap Jiffy over it. I'm like, no, see, it lines up, guys.
It's going to be up there.
It just makes sense. The other one is Totino's Pizza Rolls. Now, we're about to put an image of pizza rolls. And you're going to see clearly that this image does not say Totinos. It says Geno's because it was. This is right. Geno's Pizza Rolls actually existed. Totino's bottom out. Now, the Mandela effect for most people
Okay.
is that Totino's is spelled wrong, and it's that people swear that it's spelled wrong, but not for me. For me, now this is probably just me being wrong, but I always heard the Mandela effect on pizza rolls, and I thought this was what people were talking about. Turns out, no, it's just Totino's is Tostinos. No, people just say it wrong. But um, I remembered it being Geno's, and then when I looked it up, I'm like, what? I just swore to everything in my fucking being that Geno's was spelled Ginos, and it's not. But hey, there you go. Geno's, if you guys are wondering, Geno's pizza rolls did exist. They were who first started the pizza rolls, and then Totino's just like bought that out. So that's why it switched from Geno's to Totino's. That makes perfect sense. But I thought it was Geno's GI.
Jay knows the story. Me and pizza rolls go way back, like way back. So I've got an affinity for pizza rolls.
Like this.
Yeah, they're the reason I breathe heavy now. Not gonna lie, that's part of it. I eat and have eaten a lot of pizza rolls in my day.
I have too.
I remember both. I remember them as competitors, as there was Geno's pizza rolls and there was Tostino. You got me saying Tostinos. It is Totino's.
I don't really know the. It's possible that they were both.
And there's a good possibility that one of them bought the other one out, get rid of the competition, make a monopoly on pizza rolls, which is fine because to me they tasted exactly the same.
Yeah, and Totino's kind of makes sense because they were already doing like frozen pizzas and stuff. So
yeah, and then I currently have some of the party pizzas that are Totino's.
Yeah, my kids eat the. Oh, I haven't got those. Well, my kids eat the hell out of those.
They're good. They're cheap.
Well, they are good.
They're all right.
They're not.
Yeah.
No, they're good, man.
Not a sponsor, but hey, if you want to be, come on, sponsor us.
You're like, I want a Totino's party pizza right now.
I mean, I would eat a stack of them right now. Yeah. I actually said this the other day to Connie. I've never gone to a party where those are being served.
No, never once.
Now, I also don't get invited to parties, but
maybe like a kid's sleepover.
Oh yeah. It's like, Mom, can we have pizza? Yeah, you're getting these because they're like $1 for 15 of them.
So I'm gonna go. We're gonna go into one more, and then we're gonna go into some theory stuff. And the one more here is Pikachu's tail, and this one really burns people. And I'll tell you,
burned me, and I do not care about Pokemon.
The one on the left looks better. It just does.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's the one on the right. He never had a black thing on his tail. Now, people will go, "Oh, they're adamant. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did." Again, I think I have an explanation for this one that makes sense too. I am not a Pokemon guy. I do not actually know.
Maybe one's an evolution of the other, and we're not aware of it because that's an aspect of Pokemon.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe
actually, I think he's a drawing in a cartoon, and I think the original was drawn without, and at some point somebody drew it with a black tip. And it looked better in people's minds, and then social media kind of ran with this. Now we got people drawing him out there with the black tip, and people they see that, and it could have even been the first version you saw is that somebody like drew it with a black tip, like somebody put a black tip on this one. And yeah, I think it does look better, but it does kind of make sense because the tail is supposed to kind of look like a lightning bolt,
right?
So it does make sense that it's not there. I just think this is we've seen enough people have drawn it with it that it gets very confusing. But
I've seen drawings literally on people's skin, and I can't remember if it has the black tip or not. But I think it would be hilarious if everybody that got it tattooed got it with the black tip on there, and it's just completely wrong.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be hard to change to yellow. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's a weird thing, man.
Considering how long that show ran, or possibly even still is running, I'm not real sure.
Oh, I'm pretty sure your diehard Pokemon fans are like, he does not have a black tip. Get over it. Very much like Star Wars fans are like, it's not the correct. But
man, also, that's crazy. If you just Google Pikachu, there's no black tip.
Couple of other things before we head into some theories. It's never been we're going to need a bigger boat. It's never been Play It Again, Sam. These are just
What is it for Casablanca?
uh
It's not Play It Again, Sam.
play
That's
another play another one, Sam. Play with something like that. Play another one of those, something like it's something real close to that. It's not Play It Again, Sam. It's like play that song again, something like that. It's similar, and that's what I mean. It's just simpler to say, like, we're gonna need a bigger boat, and it's I think we need a bigger boat.
there's apparently a Woody Allen film called Play It Again, Sam.
Yeah, because the term became so used, so coined, such a popular phrase, even though it was misquoted. It just happens all the
Yeah.
time. And from a movie nerd who quotes movies all the time, I'm like, no, sometimes we just say I'm wrong, guys, and it becomes part of the zeitgeist. Like people just think that it's correct, but it's not. It's hey,
The
I've been
actual line is "Play it, Sam."
yeah,
It's not
and there's
"Play it
more.
again." Yeah.
Like he says more after that, like play it, Sam, play it, blah 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 blah. So let's get into some theories here. Is this before Marvel, guys? This thing actually existed. Is this a multiverse effect? Is the Mandela effect caused by quantum physics? Right. Um, this is a crazy but kind of compelling story that when I heard it kind of blew my mind, but I'm going to kind of get into this. So the CERN Hadron Collider, it was turned on September 10th, 2008. Now the first collisions, and guys, we are not physicists, so I'm giving you what I found online. I can't even explain all this. So the first collision was achieved in 2010. So 2008 it was turned on. 2010, the first collision was achieved at an energy of 3.5 tera electron volts (TeV) per beam.
That sounds like a lot.
There you go. It was 4 times the previous world record. So the discovery of the Higgs boson at the Large Hadron Collider was announced in 2012. So breaking this down real simple, a collider it's a particle accelerator, or it's a type of particle accelerator that brings opposing particle beams together such that the particles actually collide with each other. This is, and again, I'm giving you the dumbed down, stupid guy version of this because I don't fully understand all this, but some of this has to do with how they think the Big Bang happened. Like it all ties in, but a lot of physicists hope that the Large Hadron Collider would help answer some of the fundamental questions in physics that nobody really has answers to, which concern the basic laws governing the interaction and forces among elementary particles and deep structure of space and time, particularly in the interrelation between quantum mechanics and general relativity. That's what I got for you.
Yeah, I told Jay all of that.
He did.
He knew that.
He broke it down for me
because I told him.
because I just didn't know.
I'm a smarty smart.
I looked all that up, and that is direct quote stuff. I don't understand it all. I watched Big Bang Theory like the rest of them, and I still don't know. So there was a fear, and we're
a justifiable one, because look at that thing. Okay, that is a dude in the bottom of that photo. He is standing on a platform, and you barely see him in the photo.
And this isn't even, Matt was like, I didn't know it was that big. I'm like, this isn't all of it.
That's a part of it.
This is only part of it. So there was a major fear that the Hadron Collider would create a black hole, and that black hole would grow and consume our entire planet. Here's the best part of that.
Maybe that would have been a good idea.
I was telling Matt
maybe
about
that
this.
would have been a good thing.
The best part of that is that scientists weren't like, no, that's actually impossible. They never said that. Here's what they actually said. They were like, so if micro black holes were created,
I like how there was aluminum foil, just like preventing destruction, I guess.
If micro black holes were created, they would be too small to swallow anything and would likely disappear instantly. That is what they said, and not no, it won't create black holes. They said, likely. I mean, if it creates many black holes, they'll be too small to do anything, and they'll probably disappear.
There's a lot of for scientists. I'm gonna need you to clarify. Probably, likely, all those like caveat words. We don't know. It might, but it might not.
one of the
Let's
beauties of
find
science
out.
is we don't always have the answers. That's the thing that we're trying to. It's a quest for answers, right? So,
Yeah. But
so
Superman 4 was also a quest for peace, so, and that didn't turn out well.
it didn't turn out well at all. But Superman could fly back in time and change things. We
Maybe
learned
he
that in
could go
Superman.
back in time before they turned on this Higgs boson hadron collider. Like,
So
maybe do that.
why do we bring this up? Why do we say the Higgs boson collider might have something to do with this? Now, I'm going to tell you a story about a kid named Max Sidorov. And this is a thing out there. You can go look and you'll find this. So Max was this 13-year-old kid. He uploaded a video onto YouTube warning scientists not to start up the collider. So why should we care what a 13-year-old kid says? Well, because according to this video and according to everything, he was a genius. He warned that the Large Hadron Collider would inadvertently open an interdimensional porthole. He actually said it did for 11 minutes, and there's all this stuff to back that 11 minutes up. They did it during a secretive test, and the event allowed an unknown transfer that subtly altered reality, right? So I went searching for alleged video because you can read this. I'd heard this many times that this kid, this 13-year-old Max Sidorov or whatever the hell his name, Sidorov, I think his name, had said all this and
We'll
blah, blah,
put it on
blah.
screen.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. That Max doesn't exist. This Max could never be verified as a real kid. But there is a real Max, Max Logan. And Max Logan said some similar stuff. Now, Max Logan is from the United States. He's not some Russian. You're going to hear a lot of things about people saying that, well, Stephen Hawking also said that there was the potential it could destroy the universe. That's actually not what he said. He did say, like, this could like destroy the current reality as we all know. Basically, what he was saying is like this could change everything. Like this has the potential to change physics. This could destroy our current world of physics as the way we know it. And that has been misconstrued as like he said it could destroy everything, but he wasn't quite saying that. So Max and Matt brought this up. I think it's Logan. I don't really know how to pronounce his name, but I think it's Logan. It's on his shirt. You can read it. So he was dubbed the smartest kid in the world back in 2016 after inventing a $14 free energy harvester using coffee cans, wires, and coils to tap into ambient electromagnetic fields. So
Now, question regarding that.
I
Can we
don't.
confirm that he is still
Yeah.
alive?
Oh yeah, he's still alive, and he's
Okay.
still working in the world of science. He sort
Okay,
of
good.
became less popular, of course, because he got older. It's one thing to be a whiz kid, and no. So this thing he created, this free energy harvester thing. It's kind of a misnomer. It's not exactly free, like it does it, but it does generate energy, and he did it for some contest at the age of 13, and he won. And he was like, he had all these cool theories and stuff. So he's also had several interviews discussing energy and parallel universes. And he actually did theorize that the collider might have destroyed our universe. And in doing so, rather than destroy all of us or maybe our consciousness or whatever, it actually shifted everyone into another parallel universe. So again, he was only 13. We have no evidence to back any of this up besides, I'm sorry,
Theories,
the
basically.
theory. There's
Yeah.
no evidence to back the theory up. There's some circumstantial, which I want to get into in a minute because I think it's pretty telling. But again, the theory is like when they turned it on, what if it did exactly what we were afraid it would do? What if it destroyed one version of a universe and we don't know how things work? So what if it then took our energy, our consciousness, and shifted that? And why is that important? Because what we've been saying this whole time is that would explain why. So, say Matt and I were on our timelines, right? And this destroyed my timeline. We'll say mine, for example, or maybe even multiple timelines. And then it shifted those together into a new one. Matt may have memories of stove for stovetop, whereas in my timeline, it was just stovetop. And in somebody else's, it was craft stove. Like, that's why people could have different memories and then be so clear. But I said I wanted to give some circumstantial evidence to back some of this up because this is where things, to me, get really bizarre. one of the odd bits about this is the time period when things seem to have changed. Like growing up, I don't recall any of this sort of thing happening. Like my parents were never sitting with their friends claiming, "Oh no, it was called this."
Yeah.
That never happened. They weren't having those discussions. These things didn't happen. But you know when I remember this stuff starting to kind of happen, when people started having these discussions, somewhere in that like 2009, 2010 era. That's when all this stuff
Hmm.
started. The term Mandela Effect was coined in 2009. The Hadron Collider was turned on in 2008. People started getting really like hellbent about Mandela Effect sometime around the same time. Yes, that's very circumstantial. I
Yeah.
understand that.
Correlation is not causation in this.
Correct.
It could just be a strange coincidence, but
But there's more.
yeah,
Not only is the timing of when people started talking about it then, the things people claim were changed all happened pre Hadron Collider. No one's saying something from last year is different. It's things only from before that time.
yeah. There's nothing new
Correct.
that has come out since then necessarily
Correct.
that we can think of offhand. If somebody has an example, leave in the
Which
comments.
which
Go,
could
go
add to
for it
both
down there.
theories. It could also mean it's older stuff, so people are just getting it wrong
Yeah.
because your memory. But it's not just one person's memory. It's not just 10 people's memory. Sometimes it's millions of people's memory. You and I talked about you've never seen the movie Yesterday, but I told you it's really good, and you're like, isn't that the one where the guy like wakes up and nobody remembers the Beatles existed, and then he starts releasing Beatles songs himself? Yes, but here's the key thing about that movie: it's not. That's how they market it because that's the main crux, but it's not just Beatles songs. There are other things, products and stuff that he remembers drastically different. And then as it goes on, you start figuring out, oh no, there are other people in this universe, not very many, but some that remember those Beatles songs too, and they're like, we remember this as well. And it's a really cool movie, and it's not, they never talk about Mandela Effect, I don't think, in it, but that's very much what it kind of is, and it's just really cool. So the theory is, and this is again, it's not Marvel, guys. This is a real thing. A lot of physicists believe in the multiverse theory, and that is that there are not infinite but multiple universes where when you make a decision, things can change. Like key decisions can change the entire course. So there's an alternate timeline somewhere, another parallel dimension, running parallel to us, where you are different. Maybe not entirely. Some you're probably entirely. Some you're very similar. And what happens if one of those gets destroyed? We don't know. And by the way, a lot of scientists believe that that is a real thing, that parallel dimensions, that multiverse is a real thing. So, what happens if one gets destroyed? We don't know. We really can't tell. So that's the theory that when they turn this on, it actually destroyed one or more. And rather than saying, well, that's the end, it just sort of combined the great unknown combined and shifted things together. And we have memories now, very clear memories, but the reality we're currently in, well, that's not the way it went. In this reality, Kraft never, Stofers did release that. And
Which, in the grand scheme of thing, like narrowing it down to literally like stuffing mix and like what it was called, that's a minor thing. Like the
but
implications of this
correct,
could be so much bigger than we've
but
even
they are.
scratched the
You
surface of.
That makes it even more intriguing that it's minor things all the way up to major things. Did Nelson Mandela ever become, in my universe, did he ever become president? Did he ever get out of prison where he was like wrongfully, did a man in Tiananmen Square get killed and marked a martyr and for the cause? Like we don't know. That's the real kicker of this. We really can't know.
Yeah.
Just can't know. And it's that's where things start getting cool but creepy all at the same time. It's like, did it happen? And then there's people out there going, no, it never. But why? Why could it have never happened? You don't know. Physicists say that there's always that possibility it happened. And it gets even more crazy. It's not just Hadron Collider. There are some people that claim we're living in a simulation and that these subtle changes are changes in the overall programming.
Mhm.
Only certain programs, that would be us, not having things changed correctly, not having their overall programming or their overall memory wasn't wiped correctly, so they're still having vague memories of something before it was changed.
Now, I'll divert this into pop culture because that's what I
Matrix,
based most of my stuff on. Yeah, it's the Matrix.
correct.
Is that would be living in a simulation, take the red pill, take the blue pill, whatever,
To a degree,
go
yeah.
further down the rabbit hole, that kind of thing.
We need to be very clear about Marvel's multiverse and the Matrix simulation. Those were science fiction movies based off real theories.
Yeah.
And
And I mean, on top of that, you got Blade Runner, the
simulants, yeah.
do androids dream of electric sheep, all that. It's
So
like that whole thing of having, artificial intelligence and all that. Everything is art imitates life, is what I'm saying. And there are like Jay was saying, they are basing this off of real theories and real, potentially experiments as well. And
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. There are moments where, and it sounds like I'm joking, where I'm full on like we are totally living in a simulation because I will see patterns in my day to day, and my brain's telling me like, why am I seeing that again? Maybe that's just my brain's filling in the gaps with what limited stuff like it has to fill it in with. I know it sounds weird, but like, why am I suddenly seeing JA13? That sounds weird, but like I saw it on the other day. I saw JA13 on a license plate in front of me, and then as I was driving down the street, I saw a configuration of the same numbers, like 13AJ on something else, and then so on. So, and I kept seeing it all day, and I'm like, am I just filling in with what I know? So Neil deGrasse Tyson has actually come out about this and said that the possibility that we are living in a simulation is very likely based on a statistical argument. If a more advanced civilization, so in other words, it is very likely that we are,
Truman Show.
if a more advanced civilization could create simulations, and then those simulations could create more simulations, then simulated universes would vastly outnumber the single base reality. What he's saying is it's likely that we are a simulation if there's an advanced civilization that could create them. Then we're probably one of them. And I know that sounds weird, but it really is. And what would that mean? Because people don't like that. What if we are a simulation? Does that make our life any less important? And I don't feel like it would. Because in some way, shape, or form, even if you believe in creationism or whatever, we're still created by somebody else, whatever you think that is. So I don't know. Just a weird. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I get a little philosophical on you. But
And to tie it further back into pop culture and mythology and everything, like this literally goes all the way back to Greek and Roman mythology as well, where all the Greek and Roman gods were basically, and going into Clash of the Titans, there's the scene where the gods are literally moving around people on
as
a
like
like a
chess pieces on
chessboard,
board, yeah.
and they're literally making things happen. So I mean, that's from
We're getting
late 70s, early 80s, something like that. I can't remember when that
very
is.
philosophical. 1981, somewhere in there, probably
Yeah.
80, 81. But I think since the beginning of time, men has tried to figure out where he came from.
Yeah.
When there's so many theories, we just don't know. I don't want to kind of shoot down a couple, or not really shoot down, but kind of give some thoughts. Then we're gonna rapid fire these. We're not gonna get crazy. Matt and I were just talking about it. It's My Baloney has a first name. It's OSCAR. My Baloney has a second name. It's MEYER. To the best of my knowledge, it's always been that, not MAYER. I would even kind of argue that MAYER is Mayer, not Meyer. But there's even a store, guys. Migers. Let's stop trying to put a monocle on everything, guys. Mr. Peanut has always had one, but the Monopoly guy, and I couldn't find it. I could, but it was a weird image. And the Pringles, man, they didn't have monocles. And to me, I even think Monopoly Man looks weird with the monocle on him. But Mr. Peanut's always had one, and people think rich guy needs monocle, but he's never had one.
Well, yeah, I mean, monocles are just the symbol of wealth, though. So I mean, Mr. Peanut. I mean, come on, he's got spats on. He's got a cane, a top hat. That's oil baron right there. That dude is just running
like
thing.
Stirrup pants. It's very weird. Britney Spears does not have a headset mic on in the video for Hit Me Baby One More Time or Oops, I Did It Again. Y'all think she did because in the live version where she is wearing the same outfit, she does have a headset mic on. and they actually released a doll of her with the headset mic. And again, it's just you're seeing her in the same outfit doing the same dance, and your brain says it's in the video. I worked at a video store, and we had this screener thing that would play on loop, and I had to watch Oops, I Did It Again all the time.
Yeah,
So
he had to, everybody.
no, yeah, we had to.
He was forced.
They gave us a tape. We had to listen. I know where you're trying to joke here, but like literally, I had to watch the same trailers for like a month at a time, and there would be music videos in there, and there are some songs I had to listen to. That trust me, I'm talking about this one. I'm talking about www.memories, which was a country song, and it was horrible, but it was on one of those, and I had to listen to it all day long.
Oh, okay. I don't want to, but I'm going to look that up later.
www.memories. It's bad. In my world,
Which
in mine,
oddly ties into the Mandela effect. It affects all of our memories.
in my world, in my memories, Curious George never had a tail, guys. I actually remember this because as a kid, I was always like, why does he not have a tail? He's a monkey. Also, obviously, this is somebody's drawing of it.
Is he a monkey or is he an ape?
No, I think he's a monkey. But this looks weird.
Because if I remember right, that's the distinction between a monkey and an ape, is whether or not they have a tail. And there's a few other things, obviously, but
again, you and I talked about whoever drew this didn't put the black outline around the tail, but the tail still looks weird.
yeah, it's oddly placed, but also, yeah, I mean the fact that there is not a dark enough outline around that, it also would be nice if they made it at least a similar shade of brown to the rest of him.
Well, they probably did. They probably highlighted up in the darker brown around his head and just used that and didn't realize that was sort of the shading instead of like the main portion, which is what they should have done. And there's no shading on it.
Which
don't give me the argument,
goes even further into the fact that he never had a tail to begin with.
And don't give me the argument of, well, he's a monkey and anatomically he would. He would also have testicles, and they didn't add those. So,
yeah.
So
there's no nipples on Curious George.
I'm saying cartoon drawings change things all the time. Yeah. I think he looks weird with the tail, and in my universe where I came from, he never had one.
Yeah, he would also have a hole in his ear that leads into his brain. You know, all of that. Like, you know, there's a lot of inconsistencies with animation. So
yeah, I will say this as kind of my closing thoughts. While I do believe a lot of this is just people getting things wrong, if this is a weird matrix or parallel universe thing, like I said, we could just come from differing realities. So it's possible that some had things one way and some had things another way. And I don't know what I believe. Part of me really, and I'm not a conspiracy theory nut guy. I love getting into them. But the Hadron Collider thing is really weird to me. Like it almost feels real to me. And I actually do believe in the Mandela effect. I actually do think that we have memories of stuff because to us, for one reason or another, it was that way. Because again, it's not me getting something wrong. I'm trying to think of a good example of something that I thought it was one way, and people were like, "No, he's where." I know what you're going to say, but that's not exactly the same thing. That's just me hearing a word wrong.
What is it? What is it?
What?
What is it?
Damn it! But that's just that to me always made sense though. I just heard a word wrong. I mean, like I'm trying to think of something where I'm like, that color was this, and then I am wrong, and I'm like, oh really? And while I thought it was right, there's a difference between that feeling and the feeling that you get with the Mandela effect. Like this is a gut feeling. Like, no, that not only is not how I remember it, that feels wrong. Not just I was wrong, that feels wrong. So
yeah.
I don't know. You guys can tell us if you think it's creepy or not, but I think there's a little bit of a creepy vibe. Like, what if we destroyed our freaking universe and it's kind of cool to think that if that happened, it didn't just destroy us completely. We just merged into another one, and we still have our memories of when we were kids. Some of them are wrong.
Yeah.
It happens, so Matt, what did you think of that?
It kind of broke my brain a little bit on some of this. I hate to say this. It kind of makes you go, and we kind of joked about this off air about like we're in the darkest timeline now.
We are in the darkest timeline. And that's a community reference for those who don't know.
Yeah, the fact that not only just this theory, but a potentially very real possibility that this happened and we're all just living in it now. And again, like I kind of said, I don't know if you even heard me, but the simulation, it's not only the Matrix, it's also the Truman Show. Maybe we're all just here as somebody else's entertainment.
And well, I think I said earlier, like the only thing about that is I feel, again, this is a personal feeling, that I don't feel like there's anybody trying to pull a fast one on me or convince me of something. I think to them, when I say I remember Nelson Mandela dying and they're like, well, he never did, I think for both of us it's as real a fact, and nobody's like, we're tricking you here. This isn't like, is the government hiding UFOs? And if
they are, but
well, we kind of know that now. That's not even really
and again, once again, thank you, Tom DeLonge, for more than just the music. Come on, dude.
Yeah, there you go. Right. I want to say this before, like, and I don't want to get into a whole thing. We'll do this on another show. But like, I could understand why they think they need to hide UFOs from us.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who are like, they're hiding Bigfoot. Why would they need to hide Bigfoot? That's not going to cause a like, people might freak out about UFOs, but I don't think the world's going to lose. And by the way, I don't think they'll lose it for UFOs, but I could see where they would. I think back in like the 40s,
I think it would
50s,
make some people question reality a little bit more if they were just like out of nowhere. Hey, UFOs exist. Here's one of them. And by the way, here's the ambassador from Gleep Glop 12, galaxy out there.
Glopians. God,
man, the Gleep Glop 12ians.
Gleep Glopians. I think that
just Gleep Glopping all over the place.
I think in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, people might have lost their mind. I think in the late 60s, when you started getting people a little more open-minded, I think it was like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Now, I think people are a little more apt to be like, it's not.
I think there's also people who would just be like, thank you for finally revealing yourself, because now I don't seem crazy to my friends.
Take me to your leader. So anyway, Mandela Effect. That was we hope you guys enjoyed that. I know it was way different than what we normally do, but it's these are paranormal kind of things, and the word paranormal
with some basis in science that we don't understand.
A lot of basis in science. That's the thing about this to remember.
A little too much, if you ask me. Like,
lots of physicists and scientists.
Why did you build this giant machine? What was the point? Like, what?
Because they're trying to find answers to physics questions that they just can't find answers to. I mean, seriously.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense, but it's also kind of like, other than just trying to find answers, was it to like generate power? Was it to, and by power, I mean like literally an energy source? I wasn't listening to like half of what you said.
Matt saying to me the other day, well, even if he did, it didn't make sense to me, and I read it. Matt saying to me the other day, trying to quote, and I come out, it was, yeah, John, but you spend so much time thinking whether or not you could, you never stop to think if you should. And that's my point right there. It's like, that's chaos theory.
We can, but should we? No, probably not.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
And it's kind of messed up that there's like a 13-year-old kid making a Folgers can energy source.
Kind of cool though.
That's awesome. Honestly, that's really cool.
And when we
and he's the one telling everybody, going like, "Hey, what happened?"
I'm trying to wrap this episode up, but I keep thinking of more cool things to add to the, like for the you said that and it made me think of like this kid making energy. We also find out years and years later that we have been lied to about major things.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we found out that while yes, Chernobyl was an accident, it was a accident that they actually probably knew was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
They were hiding. We found this out years later, but they were hiding actual, like when they were running tests and stuff,
they damage or something.
They knew that this thing was not as stable as they had said it was, and they knew there was a good chance that this would happen, and they buried that for years. And that's what I mean. So So it's not all a conspiracy. It's only a conspiracy if it's not true. Yeah. So, and you're only paranoid if you're wrong.
Science fiction and science fact.
And most science fiction comes from science fact. As we close things out, because we need to close things out. First thing is Bob Gimlin, still with us. I checked, still alive. But in my universe, see, I wasn't wrong. He's just in my universe. No. Bob Gimlin still alive. So Bob Gimlin is alive as of the recording of this episode and still kicking. So awesome. We'd love to have him on the show. That'd be cool. You can email us if you have any personal stories or clips you'd like us to check out or just thoughts you want to give us.
Examples of the Mandela effect we didn't discuss.
Yeah.
Leave them down here. If you want us to do follow up on some of these,
and
we
some
can.
are just, some you read, I'm like, come on, guys. But then there's some that just, if you haven't watched it a couple weeks ago, we did an episode where we actually did some viewer stories and viewer clips, and it was a really fun one to do. So we would love some more stories. If you guys have some personal paranormal stories, or maybe you saw Bigfoot or whatever, write it in, send it to us. We'll read it on the show.
And side note, Jay, I don't even know if I've told you this yet. I've already gotten more submissions since then. It's like I got 2 or 3 submissions yesterday alone.
I love that, actually.
Yep.
And if you guys want to submit videos, just give us a clip or tell us where to look for it, and we will look. We did that on that episode too. Somebody specifically asked us to look into some. We gave our thoughts, and what we found is it's more than likely AI. Like 99%, it's probably AI. Like we put it through a thing. But if you have clips you would like us, you can email us here. You can also leave it in the comments. That's always a way to go.
Down there,
Matt checks all the comments, and so that's a you know. And then there are ways you can follow us. You can KindaCreepyShow. YouTube, of course, is what we are here, but we also have a Facebook page, which is Kinda Creepy. Go over there. It's a little, we talk about stuff. It's fun. Yeah. And then of course we have Instagram. But if you could do us some huge favors, before we go, it'd be really cool if you could like hit that looks like it kind of looks like a thumb going like this. You should hit that. It's
the one going up, though, preferably.
And it means
there's
you
both.
You really, really like us.
Do this one.
Which is also a misquote. She did not say that at the Academy Awards. You like me. You really, really like me. She said a variation of that. Oh. You can, of course, like I said, you can leave those comments down there. You can share this. You can click share, and it shows
let your friends know.
And you can and probably should subscribe and keep coming back for more fun stuff here on Kinda Creepy. We had a lot of fun on our show, Kinda Spooky. It's so glad you joined us on Kinda Spooky.
I don't remember Kinda Spooky existing. What are you talking about?
That's the name of the show. We should go back because
could you imagine if I popped this up and it said Kinda Spooky?
We should have done it if we'd have thought about it.
Yeah, that would have been great. I mean, I'll leave a blank space where maybe it was the original name of the show and you just don't know.
We had like a list of names. And it might have been one of them. But
that might have been one. Yeah.
We just were talking like we just want to talk about things that are kind of creepy, and I was like, oh, maybe that's the name.
So we'll just say this: there theoretically may have been a point in time where we did a segment called Spooky Scary Time, and you're just getting it confused with Kinda Creepy as Kinda Spooky.
Yeah, it's possible.
Could be.
We did that, yeah. So that's it. That's all I got. Guys,
there's something else that they need to do, though, right?
For joining us. Yeah, I mean, we try to tell them every week, and this is the most important. I think most of them are doing this.
Yeah,
they're mostly listening, but it'd be really important if you guys would, keep it creepy.
This is Kinda Creepy.